I'm Mrs. Rekha Isen, Assistant Professor of English from Government First Grade College, Kavur, Mangalore. The novel Nampally Road has been prescribed for BBA Sem 4 of Mangalore University with a text titled Compulsory Foundation Course in English. This session is on the themes, session 34. Let's start the session with the theme Problem of Identity and Dislocated Self. Meera Kanadikal, the young protagonist of the novel of Nampally Road, is an English professor who returns to India after studying in England for 4 years and getting a PhD on Wordsworth. That means she has read many poems of Wordsworth and she wants to teach the same in India as well. After getting her degree from Nottingham University, she returns to India. She feels distraught and out of place in England and decides to start anew in India. When Meera got a teaching job in Hyderabad, she gladly accepted it because she thought that going to India would give her a chance to establish a clearer identity for herself. Once she reached Hyderabad, she felt that she was no more a girl in confusion, but a woman of firm standing. When Meera started living in Hyderabad, she had to face minor problems about readjusting with the Indian society. Once Meera started eating with her left hand by mistake, and this shocked many Andhrites, many Andhra people who saw it, because in order to prove herself as a advanced individual of European culture, she started eating with the left hand in England. But in India, in order to prove herself as an Indian and belong to the Indian culture, she had to start a new life. But by mistake, she started eating with her left hand. And this shocked many Andhra people, the people surrounding her. During her free time, Meera continued her attempts to write poems. She was very much confused. Inside her mind, in spite of all her Western education, she had to prove herself, her individuality, her own self in India as well. She wanted to become a poet so as to establish herself a new identity. Gradually, the social turmoil becomes Meera's personal trauma as she is unable to teach the Western poet Wordsworth. The gang rape of Ramiza Bay by the police disturbs her routine work, her routine course. The romantic literature of Wordsworth clashes with the harsh realities of Hyderabad around her. She gets dislocated from her job of a teacher, as her teaching was very much different from the hard realities of Hyderabad. And she feels to explore herself and explain the poetry of Wordsworth as well. If she doesn't find her identity, her mother was ready to dress her up in silk and gold and marry her off to some rich engineer or estate owner. Meera strongly felt that she may not be able to survive such a marriage. According to Meera, marriage is a personal matter and she will commit into a marriage only when she is fully prepared for the arrangement. Mira's search for identity takes a sharp turn when she sees Ramiza Bey for the first time inside the Gauligoda police station. Very soon, someone carried Ramiza to the house of Maitreyamma, where she was given good rest and medical attention. Meera comes in contact with Ramu as a college teacher. They both teach English in Sona Nivas, a local college. He is highly unorthodox and rejects superstitions, including what she refers to as horoscope rubbish. Ramu and Meera visited Ramiza in that house, and her pathetic condition extremely influenced Meera. I wished, Meera wondered, I could give up my own useless life in some way that could help her. Thus, Meera finally found her identity. She understood that she was nobody else other than an ordinary Indian. The suffering of Ramiza Bey was the suffering of an entire nation, and Meera's mission in life was to seek a solution to give relief to millions of Ramizas in India. Meera became half an Indian by returning to India and deciding to settle down permanently here. She became a full Indian when she understood that her mission in life was to serve India, that is her motherland. Globalization has facilitated the mobility of people from country to country. Subsequently, globalization has brought loneliness and frustration to the migrants. Alexander throws light upon the loneliness and isolation of Laura as a diaspora person in India. Diaspora, taking birth in one place and residing in another due to some complexities. Her life in Hyderabad is like a nightmare, and she shrinks into marginality and loss of identity with all her rights taken away by her husband. Meera captures the marginality and dislocation of Laura. Ramizabe is raped by a gang of drunken policemen repeatedly. Her husband, who rushed to help her, is brutally beaten and murdered by them. This shows that the common people are not safe in their homeland. The advent of emergency in India has taken away the basic rights of citizens. They find themselves dislocated. The characters like Meera, Ramiza, Ramu, and Laura experience displacement as they share the pains of other characters who are suppressed at the hands of the politicians. They showcase collective displacement, though they are in free India. It is the political strategy of the rulers which pushes them to undergo political displacement. Nampally Road thus becomes a document of personal, communal, collective, and political displacement. Now, coming to the next theme, political and social insensitivity and administrative indifference. In Nampally Road, Meena Alexander provides an opportunity to look at the politics of 1970s India, when many political rights and civil liberties were curtailed. Meera's concept of nationalism is distorted by the neo-colonial elites. These elites who are called the superior group in the society, just like the government and the bureaucrats, who misuse their political power to assault and batter the poor, downtrodden people. The chief minister, Limca Gowda, imposed heavy taxes to the orange sellers and made their life difficult to survive. The tax money of the common people, which was to be spent for the people, was spent like water in celebrating his birthday with great pomp. The rape of Ramiza Bey by drunken policemen proves to be the turning point for the novel. When Ramiza Bey was returning with her husband from the theatre late at night, she was dragged and detained in the police station where she was raped and beaten the whole night. Her husband was beaten to death. In order to avenge the gang rape of Ramiza Bey, the infuriated community, the enraged community in the novel burns the whole police station and frees Ramiza from police custody. As a consequence, a curfew is imposed in Hyderabad in the days leading up to a general election. With this, Meena Alexander depicts the grim reality of senseless political violence, where the authoritarian rule and the reign of the corrupt chief minister Limca Gowda creates a political climate that curbs freedom of expression. The last theme is the exploitation of women. Rape is the most heinous crime committed by man against woman. Rape, as a form of personal violence, is not merely a physical assault and even the symbolic of the mistreatment of womankind. It is treated as a violation of the most sensitive part of the female psyche. In the novel, a woman is raped in police custody, and two other women are raped and buried half alive in the shifting sands of the Arabian Sea. The police do not take any action as they seem to be more worried about the birthday celebration of the chief minister rather than the tragic fate of the poor woman. A few days after Ramisa Bey's incident, a small crowd gathers and agitates in order to rescue her. But very soon, many are quickly arrested and carried off in the black vans by the reserve police. Ramiza is declared a source of turbulence, a source of violence. Student leaders, workers, and some intellectuals are also arrested for raising their voice against the rule of Limca Gowda. They were to be held in prevention detention. It was said until the chief minister's birthday was over. With these themes, we come to the end of the session of themes related to the novel Nampally Road. If you'd like to read further, you can refer to the text Compulsory Foundation Course in English for the BBA degree program, SEM 4, and other reference materials. Thank you, one and all. Have a good day.